G'day subscribers, today we're going to talk about the story of the stolen FJ Holden number plates. You're with Jules Knight on Jive Talking Garage. So to a lot of members of our channel, both on YouTube and also on Facebook, would have seen the dramas that I've had with getting my number plates, my number plates back. So let's go back to the beginning. On Christmas Eve of 1981, I'm a kid straight out of school, and I bought an FJ Holden, and with the FJ Holden came its number plates that were put on it when it was first delivered on 29th of April 1954. So I got it in 1981, and when the state government were raising money for the Gateway Arterial Road, the driver training centre, all sorts of things, they wrote to people who already had a Q plate, because in Queensland it was a different type of plate, and they offered the people who had Q plates to pay a fee, and you could have a personalised number plate from that Q plate. So they'd get your Q plate and turn it into a personalised plate, so it was yours in perpetuity until you wanted to sell it. So that was offered to me. I jumped at it straight away. I personalised the one for my ute. I bought a personalised plate for my panel van, and I also bought a personalised plate for my HD X2 station wagon. So that was fine. So I was a young guy, had the FJ ute, took it off the road, put it back on the road, put its number plate back on it, and brought it out in 1990 with its number plate back on, and had the FJ ute until 1999. So let's have a look at that shot. Anyway, so what I did in 1999 was my wife and I, we started having a family. We had one child, little boy, and we knew we'd soon have another child. We ended up having three. And there's only so many people you can fit in a ute, unfortunately, no matter how nice the car is. And my ute was beautiful. It was showroom condition. I'd won a prize at I won the judge's prize from the judges at Jindabyne. And so reluctantly, I traded the car in. I got record price for it, and that was great because I upgraded to a Mustang convertible. So here's the Mustang convertible. So what I did was, when I sold the ute, I kept the number plate, and in keeping the number plate, I put it on after 6 months on my Mustang. So that was 1999. 2008, we were headhunted to go to New South Wales. I was headhunted to be a national energy manager. And so I sent my car over, first of all, into storage, and then when my mechanic was ready for it, I wanted him to fix a bent valve that was in there in the Windsor, and that was a 302 motor in that one. My other one's got a 289. And so I wanted him to do that, and also to put the new wiring harness in that I'd bought from Cleveland, Ohio. So in June of 2010, our friend Marie phoned me to say, "Did you come and get the car?" I'm like, "No, I didn't." So they were in Brisbane at Nunda, and I was in Newcastle. The car was insured by Shannon's. I phoned the police. The police just wanted to know who the insurer was. So what had happened was these two people, shall we say, waited for Marie to go from where the mechanic was, and she left the premises, went up the road for a little while, and when she came back, the car was gone. And what had happened while she was gone was these two people, two fellows, two males, pulled up. I think they said F100 is what the police told me. Let's say F100 and a car trailer on the back. They put the convertible, they broke into it, put the convertible on the trailer, and in the process of putting it on the trailer, flattened their battery, their winch battery, which means their getaway car was stalled, stationary. It couldn't go anywhere, trapped. So the helpful neighbour came over and jump-started them and allowed them to abscond. So all of this was later established after the fact. The police just wanted to know who the insurer was. I contacted the insurer. It took them 4 months to pay us out. They investigated us. They wanted my phone records. They wanted to go and interview the mechanic and his wife, where it was. And when they couldn't determine anymore that it wasn't an inside job or whatever, they even asked to take both sets of keys. Because I gave him a spare set and I had my set. So they're just checking to make sure that you haven't lost a set of keys along the way, I suppose, or given it to somebody to steal your car. What, I don't know. I don't understand how they work. But I've got to tell you, the insurance company, the investigator, he ended up with more information on the purchase than what I did. So reluctantly they paid. So that was June 2010. So we came back to Queensland in January of 2012. And so every time I registered a car or paid the registration for my car, Tracy's car, our kids' cars as they got older, I would just say, oh, look, by the way, while you're on the system, can you check on my personalised number plates, please? And the people were really good. Oh, yeah, they're yours, Mr. Knight, in perpetuity. There's no dramas. So I was looking for these. And what happened was, in March of this year, March, April, I just did my normal thing, was checking up and paying a registration. And I said to the lady, no, what it was, is because I never got the number plates back, I rang them to say, how do I get another set of number plates? That's what it was. And after they said, $375, they said, oh, but you sold them last week. And I'm going, no, I didn't. And the lady said, yeah, it's here on the system. I'm like, no, it's not. Anyway, so she just said to me straight away, go to the police and go to the police now. So I had to go to the police. I made a statement at the police station. Well, I reported it first, and then they wanted me to come back and had to make a statement, and I had to give them photographs on each of the cars. So I gave them a photo from 1982, about 1991, and another one from 2005, say, and clearly documenting not only the photographic evidence that the number plates are on my car, but it's on their system as well. And you can see the Q plate. So it was the white with the black Q, and then the rest of the number plate was black gloss with the numbers. Now mine's particularly lucky from the perspective of it has 3 8s in it. So a lot of Asian people, because their lucky number is 8, want to buy my number plates because it's very lucky from the perspective of the people that travel in the car are safe. And also it gives them great luck and good fortune. So I went to the police, did the report, had to go back and do a statement, and they sent it to Hendra because that's where the car was stolen from. And without knowing anything more, the person who had it registered to themselves or had it transferred to themselves was in the trade, And what happened was the police in Redland Bay told me that the fellow who had the number plates now was an associate of the original suspect, because they never charged somebody with stealing my car, even though they had a man next door come over and actually help them and could identify both people. Anyway, let's put that aside. So I actually had the NASCO tubular number plate that goes around them, because you can have that normal size. Well, let's talk Queensland. That was the size for everybody else. And the size in Queensland, when it moved from being the Q plate to the Australian size number plate in May of 1955. That's when they moved from Q plates. But anyway, both of my number plates had two of the tubular number plates on them, and you can actually see, for instance, there where that slots into the number plate. So you actually build the frame around to it and you push it down. So when I got my number plates back, I didn't get them back with the frame. So long story short now, the police were trying to locate them. They literally cased the joint where the bloke was. They said to me, can't see the car anywhere. I said, well, he's probably hiding it in the garage. They had already told me the type of car that it was on, and they moved it from one to the other. And the other thing is, I don't know why it was allowed to be moved, because there was a note on the registration bleep bloop to tell them they're not allowed to do anything with transaction-wise with the number plates. And when they transferred my number plate, it was transferred without even my address on the number plate form, on the transaction form. That's how bad it was. But anyway, I ended up writing a letter to the Department of Main Roads, to the Commissioner, and also the Commissioner of Police, venting my disappointment that this had been allowed to occur. But the best part of it was somebody actually popped up their head with the number plates. So they just had to wait, really, to get them. Now, they didn't necessarily want to go and knock on the door, even though I told them to go and see the bloke where he worked, and that'd give them the information upon where he had the car. But anyway, so they actually happened to be filling up with petrol at the service station one morning, and lo and behold, the bloke comes in with his car with my number plates on him. So they apprehended the fellow and confiscated the number plates, and then took them back to the station, took them off the car. The constable said, I'd put them on with double-sided tape. He said, they were the hardest things in the world to remove. He just had the strongest double-sided tape on there. So it was a matter then of, thank you, Louis, thanks for telling me. It was a matter then of just waiting until they had reversed the transaction. I had bought these number plate frames from Colin Pryor 5 years ago in anticipation that one day I was going to get my number plates back. Nothing like being patient and persistent. And so number plates are going to go on the FJ, so it can go to the Nationals. So it's a matter of just going through and slipping those tubular number plate slits over the edge of the number plate and putting them on. Now, what I got back was not the original number plates that were made for it. They've actually, I don't know what they've done with these, but they're beautifully made, but they don't have holes in them. There's no holes in the corner for the fasteners. And it just so happens that, you know, you get those and you get a couple of clips as well. So I'll put a picture of the clamp clips that go on it, and there's a little bracket that goes on it as well. So the important thing is at least I have my number plates back. They may not be the ones that were stolen off the car, as it now turns out, but by the golly, I had to be very, very patient to get them back, and I did. So patience and persistent turns out well. So these will now be going on the FJ, and they'll be going on the FJ so it's ready to go to the Nationals. So anyway, that's the tale of the number plates. So my FJ is going from that number plate to that number plate. So I feel very lucky to have them back. And I had a lot of people, give me support and things like that during the course of it all. But it's amazing what you've got to go through to get stolen property back. But anyway, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. But more importantly, enjoy your holding.